The nation's e-safety commissioner has released a new report that's found a small number of dangerous and harmful voices, like self-proclaimed misogynist Andrew Tate, are having an outsized impact on young Australian men and teenage boys.
It comes as both major political parties throw their support behind the idea of banning under 16-year-olds from social media. But questions remain over how it would be enforced. Well, let's go first to our political reporter, Tom Lowry, who is at Parliament House for us this morning. G'day, Tom. Some troubling findings from this report. What can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, James. This report spoke to about 117 young men from around Australia, aged between 16 and 21, about how they engage with the online world. And it found a really complex and sometimes contradictory picture. Young men feel very liberated by being online in that environment, but also anxious about the space they're in too. They have concerns about things like online pornography, but also very high rates of usage of it. And it found that there's a handful of harmful voices, and it pointed particularly at Andrew Tate, the very controversial influencer currently facing sex charges in Romania, as like a very prominent voice in that online space, saying these sort of harmful voices really dominate the conversation about masculinity among young men online. Julian Mangrand, the e-safety commissioner, in this interview with the ABC, said that young men do have critical thinking powers and they do use them, but being online is a really difficult space to be in. Here's a bit of what she had to say.
It's not these young men's fault. They have everything working against them, including the design of the technology, the recommender systems, and the algorithms that are driving these young men into potential rabbit holes. So, young men and adolescents are looking for information about, how to be physically fit, and they're struggling with, can I live up to these physical ideals? Can I live up to the ideals of financial success, or what it means to be a man, or masculine ideals today?
And Tom, we've seen a lot of discussions happening about a social media ban for young people under 16. What have the major parties been saying about this?
James, we're now at a point where there's pretty much bipartisan agreement that this is a good idea. The principle is to ban social media for people under 16 years of age. The coalition's been out in the past few days saying it would do this within its first 100 days in office if it's elected. The Labor government certainly agrees in principle with that idea. It just has questions about how that would actually be implemented. And the Prime Minister's been pointing to work that's already underway on age verification techniques. There are two prominent ideas that are being looked at already. One is kind of a digital token that you would acquire by having ID that would prove your birth date, that you could then take to social media platforms to prove your age. Another is age verification, where you simply look at your phone screen or upload a video selfie of yourself, and an algorithm can essentially work out how old you are. But there's still a few question marks about those kinds of technologies. Here's the Prime Minister speaking on this issue yesterday.
The reason why we're doing the trial is that social media is having a negative impact on young people. I want people to spend more time on the footy field or the netball court than they're spending on their phones, very clearly. And a ban, if it can be effective, is a good way to go.
So, James, there's broad agreement on both sides of politics. This is an idea that's worth pursuing. The questions are really around how it would be done.